just start the podcast right now? Griff, you want to do the intro so I can talk about 1-2 switch to start?
I'll do the intro. Did that good?
Wait, I was just going to come in with my part.
Oh, the ha, 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 ha.
Oh, okay. The intro song. Yes, we did it. We're there. Hey, everybody. It's Boss Barrel Radio for the week of March 6th, 2017. I am Griff Hoffman, and with me, as always, forever and ever Rayman is...
Did you just say Rayman?
Forever and ever Rayman.
I guess that would be me, because I'm the Rayman fan. I'm James Scherer, and I'm here to say that I'm funky fresh in a new way. I don't know what the way is. I'm wearing new underpants.
If you're funky fresh in a new way, what do you have to say? Do you like rapping in a major way?
I rap in a major way every major day.
I would like to tell you guys that I wish I was a little bit taller. I also wish I was a baller.
I wish I was taller. I wish I was a ball.
Jeff, are you channeling the gangsta scene right now because you went out for drinks and you went to like a club?
We went to the Quarry Tap House.
First of all, what's your name?
What's my name?
Yeah, you didn't say your name.
I said my name. It's Jeffrey Brewer.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear it either.
Maybe I'm... Yeah.
Son of David and Andrea.
And what did you do? You went out to drinks.
I went out to drinks with some peeps. And
feeling pretty good.
Talked about some stuff.
Office gossip?
Maybe.
Jeff, what blew our minds the other night when we were playing... Oh my god, what was it?
When
we were playing Zelda and we're... Oh my god, this is the worst. Oh,
the horse gossip, man?
No, the thing we kept saying over and over that was just horrible. God, I've never...
Chode turkey?
Anyways, we've been playing some Switch stuff.
We all played the Switch stuff.
We got the Switch. Everybody here has a Switch. If you're present and you have a Switch, raise your hand.
You have Jen to thank for that.
Yeah,
I do.
We were watching her on video, and you cut her off.
Mm-hmm. She's been cut off. Yep, just like her weave.
She's no longer allowed to get any spray tans.
No more cut off spray tans. Cut off weaving.
Griff, are you a Scientologist and you've disconnected from her?
Oh yeah, I went clear, and she didn't.
So let me talk about my experience trying to get people to play 1-2 Switch. So on Friday, the first day I got the Switch, I was like, this is perfect. My brothers got friends over. They're all drunk. I'm going to make them play 1-2 Switch. And I got them to, and they enjoyed it because they were drunk, and I enjoyed it because I actually enjoy the game. But
indeed, yes, I understand the true sophistication of one. Unlike
my favorite thing about 1-2 Switch is the deep and challenging yet fair mechanics.
Do you enjoy holding a Joy-Con?
No,
because I do.
Never.
Sometimes I
very much do.
Sometimes I just hold them. What if you could be holding a Joy-Con but kind of playing a kind of game with a friend?
Do you ever just stroke the Joy-Con like you're jacking it? Because 1-2 Switch.
Oh, man. I think it's fun. I haven't played a lot, but I'm excited to play more. I'm going to force you to play it when we're at PAX in, like, no time at all. This Friday,
Perfect.
We're going to be playing 1-2... This Thursday, we're going to be playing...
Let me ask you questions. How many submarine sandwiches are we going to virtually down?
A lot of... Well, I don't know about submarine sandwiches. I'm all about them chicken fingers. I'm going to be...
No. We're going to actually down a lot of chicken fingers.
Yeah.
How many submarine sandwiches are we going to eat in 1-2 Switch?
I suggest that whoever loses
fingers.
the 1-2 Switch battle has to lick the cartridge.
Oh, dude, I was on Reddit, and apparently somebody went into cardiac arrest after licking one of those
because they were on Reddit? That sounds about right.
They just posted the most dank meme. There was nowhere to go from there, so their heart stopped.
It's actually built into 1-2 Switch. You have to pop out the thing and lick it, and you pass it back and forth until one of you has a heart attack.
I do feel really bad.
Well,
my plan was to lick a
the
cartridge,
substance,
but I haven't yet.
The substance it's coated with is... some people are allergic, so this guy had like a serious reaction or something.
I'm no doctor.
Survival of the fittest.
I'm no doctor, except I am, and I don't think that an allergic reaction
Could cause your heart to stop.
Can cause a heart attack. It might do something else to kill you.
I'm going to have to read about exactly what happened, because as I said it, I was like, this makes
Jeff, did you also read about that on Reddit?
All I know is they licked the cartridge and they instantly felt very unwell, and then they had to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It may not have been a heart attack.
It's defamation.
I'm gonna read up on it.
It's defamation.
Defamation?
It's they're defaming Nintendo.
Later, it was found out that,
Obama.
that he did, in fact, butt funnel the cartridge.
Oh, man.
I'm going to find this bad boy. Let's see.
So, Jamie, you're playing 1-2-Switch. You had a good time with the old rowdy bunch, and
I did, and I think it's gonna be fun. It's annoying. It's gated in the way that Nintendo games are of this ilk. So when you start 1-2-Switch, you actually don't have access to all the games.
The best.
Nor do you have access to the competitive mode where you're kind of playing on what looks like a board game board. You literally just have access to like the 5 games that I think they think are like, showing what this is all about. So you got Rapid Fire, you got the sword game, and a couple others, and those aren't the ones that I wanted to play. And I couldn't figure out after like an hour of playing how to unlock the rest. So I don't know what's going on.
Is there a secret code you could type in to bypass all that?
Maybe if you butt chug the cartridge and then put it back in.
Let me tell you this. It wouldn't be a Nintendo game if you weren't reminded to take breaks every 15 minutes.
Well, before we get into more Switch talk, Jamie, I had an extremely similar experience the other weekend in which I played John Sebastian Joust with about 15 people in my house.
Nice. How'd that
Really?
go?
Yeah, it was amazing. I had 3 controllers working, which, I wish I had 4, but still, it was incredible.
That's a solid C+ depending.
Yeah.
3 out of 4.
That is, I never even knew you had that you had Joust.
Sports Friends.
That's very cool.
Sports fans.
Oh, that's right. I haven't played that mini game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the dick one.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
Had you tried it previously?
No, never played it before, and I played it with a bunch of people, and we had all been drinking, and it was so incredible.
Nice. I played with one Axel Sanderson, and he was drunk and I was drunk, and drinking makes that game a lot of fun.
Yes.
So what we should do, Jamie, is we should be drunk on PAX's floor.
Yes.
And playing 1-2.
You guys actually should. This year is the year in which you figure out at PAX what is the best drunk game to play. So that means saddle up, boys. It's time to get crazy. It's time to get lit on the PAX floor and go play some demos.
Woo! I knew I bought that backpack for a reason. I'm gonna fill it with brewskis.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, Camelback right up the butt.
Oh yeah, guys! I can't find the thing about the person that was dying from the Switch cartridge.
I figured you've been suspiciously quiet for too long.
I'm still looking.
It still exists.
I want to believe.
I
don't know why I want to believe. It sounds highly suspect.
The rumors of that person's demise were greatly exaggerated, as were the rumors of like the kickstand not working and a couple other things. The screen is bad, but it's not that bad, right? Like I feel like
so. Here's my experience with the screen. I find that the warmer the console gets, the less I feel like even touching the screen is going to cause it to like scratch. Do you have this experience?
Well, I have a screen protector on mine, so I'm not.
This guy with his screen protection.
What the heck?
Why don't you use the screen rhythm method, bro?
The bubbles. So when you put it in the dock, it gets hot.
Screen
and then
protection
when you
is just so uncomfortable.
What?
How do you even finish games with that thing on?
How do I? Oh man, I can't.
Although the battery probably lasts a little longer.
Oh,
so
God.
it's a fringe benefit.
Oh
I
god.
hear if you put 2 screen protectors on it, it's very bad.
It's double the protection.
But then it's a greater chance of tearing. Don't do it.
Well, I poked a hole in mine.
I don't tell any of the other players.
I have syphilis.
Switchless.
Switch.
You don't want to give those other consoles touch disease, man.
No.
All those iPhones are infected. That's a real thing, by the way, if anyone didn't know.
Touch disease?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Apparently, this is great. Apparently, if you drop your iPhone 6 Plus...
Jeff, did you read this on
lot,
Reddit first? I have to ask.
No. This was on major outlets. If you drop your iPhone 6 Plus on the ground a lot, then suddenly the touchscreen won't work as well.
Nice.
There's a term for it because so many idiots did this. It's called touch disease.
Huh.
Nice.
So, FYI.
Great. So, if you couldn't have been able to glean from our discussions, the Switch is out, Zelda's out, a bunch of other games are out, everything's out, everybody should be playing video games right now because there is too many of them, and it's wonderful. It's like diving into a Scrooge McDuck pile size of video game stuff. And there's not enough time in the day to play everything that should be played. And I'd love to hear your guys' Switch impressions on air because we've talked about it plenty. I think we all love it. For I think it's safe to say that. So maybe let's kind of tout its virtues.
Yeah, I'll start with the UI. I think even though
Actually,
it's
maybe
bare...
let me cut in there. Let's address our bets.
Ooh.
Can we address the sesh first? The ses? Fuck. Whatever.
I don't know what that means.
Just get Adam Sessler.
Mute yourself.
Okay. Go back to Reddit.
I found it, guys.
Oh, thank God.
His airways closed off and he went into cardiac arrest.
Okay, well,
he had anaphylaxis.
yeah. So, okay, that we could do a podcast on that, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
Next time. Look, we got to ape the McElroys in every possible way by having a spin-off medical podcast.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll play the part of Justin McElroy, and you'll be his intelligent wife.
I'll be the recording equipment.
Reprising your role from this podcast.
Yes.
Except you'll occasionally say Watch Dogs.
Always.
All right.
So, first bet that we made a while ago, Jeff, you said the Switch will be $300. Jamie,
Nailed
you
it.
said $350, and I said there'd be 2 SKUs for $300 and $350. So, Jeff, definitely the closest in your bet. I think that was around the time when it was rumored to be $250, so we all went a little higher. And Jeff, you were the most in tune with the Nintendo tea leaves.
Well, really,
with
if
Nintendo, you always bet on disappointment and not quite meeting expectations.
you gotta factor in the price of the Pro Controller, the portable battery, the stand. So really, I am the one who is the winner here.
But what if the best input method is the derpy dog?
I agree with you.
Did you ever consider that?
You guys are weird.
So the other bet here before we get into Derpy Dog Talk is what are the Switch launch problems? Jeff, you said online play launches with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Do you want to expound upon that a little bit?
So my thought was that online play would not be available out of the box. Clearly I was wrong. Nintendo has online play, apparently in Bomberman, which
okay.
I somehow can't stomach playing for more than like 5 seconds.
Well, thank you for biting that bullet for us, and 1, playing Bomberman, and 2, checking the online functionality of it.
I haven't done that online yet, but it's a real nightmare to play on tablet mode because it is just not readable at that size.
Sure.
So I'll get to this down the line, but my dock is only recently in operation, so I haven't tried it in that mode yet.
Gotcha. Jamie, your bet here was no folders, brightness, Nintendo and Hulu apps. So essentially limited functionality on the front end and then no standard video stuff.
I said that's pretty much a win.
I think you nailed it, especially with the
honest.
no video streaming apps. Like, that's freaking weird.
Yeah, totally weird.
I like their browser that is kind of a browser but isn't, and then like someone took credit for making the browser that you can't use.
What?
Did you see that? They're like, hey, we supplied the browser for Nintendo Switch that you use when you're authenticating your Twitter.
Did you guys try that yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
It works fine.
Nice.
You can authenticate your Twitter on the thing, but you can't, like, check your email or watch Netflix? That's weird.
I mean, I don't want to do any of those things.
I would like to
At no
watch
point
my
holding
Netflix.
that Switch was I like, you want to watch Netflix on your shitty Switch? Well, I mean, it's not shitty.
I think you're missing the point. No one wants to do those things, but everyone feels like they want to.
Yeah.
And everyone it would make people happy.
The moment I typed my name on that touchscreen, I was like, I don't want to do anything on this. Except
Well,
your
there's your problem. You touched it. You used it as a handheld.
Yeah. Why'd you do that?
Oh, man.
I mean, that's how I've been primarily using it.
Me too, in the car on lunch breaks with it plugged into my car stereo, and everyone around me in the parking lot is like, that guy's really cool.
Where's Jane?
And they're like, wow, that person has an expensive thing at a public facility in which people typically...
in Newark, New Jersey. That man is sitting in a parking lot.
I'm not in
an unlocked
Newark.
vehicle.
I'm not in Newark.
Oh, that's right.
I'm
You're
in
not
Hackensack.
Oh, well. You're
The
fine,
safest of
yeah.
sacks.
No problem.
And I'm on the top of the parking deck, okay? I'm on the very top.
Oh, man. It really, and again, we'll I don't know how we're going to tackle this bad boy, but it feels special playing that thing in portable mode, Griff. I'm surprised that you haven't gone farther down that road.
I'm sure we'll have a weird fight later about it, but yeah, just to wrap this up, my bet was there would be no Nintendo Online website integration, i.e. there would be stupid, crappy friend code junk. So I guess I'd be about half right. You can link in through the apps that you already have, like if you're on Fire Emblem or whatever, but essentially there was no one unified account that you would then, be able to just look up Jeffrey Brewer or whatever your stage name is that I could find you with. It's dumb.
It is dumb, but it's like not that bad. Like it's
not that bad because there's also no
wanna...
reason to be friends with people on it, to be honest.
Exactly. Yeah, like I don't to be frank, I don't want friends on my console unless I'm going to play games with that person on a regular basis.
I kind of like seeing what other people are playing.
I like the voyeuristic nature of seeing what other people are playing and then like looking at their trophies, but again, no trophies or anything like that or achievements.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice to see you guys on and like, share in every single person playing Zelda. Because that's the only thing worth playing.
Yep.
But it's limited, but it's like I kind of don't care.
So let me ask you guys. We got through our bets. Nintendo Switch is out. What was your experience of getting your Switch? How did you what was the moment in which it reached your hands?
Friday afternoon, it arrived from Amazon on my doorstep in a box with a bunch of other stuff, like 1-2 Switch and Zelda and blah blah blah.
Beautiful.
For me, I had pre-ordered from Best Buy, and for some reason, even though I work in Augusta and there is a Best Buy there, I chose Auburn, which is 40 minutes away from Augusta. And I had taken a half day that day, and also my GPS was broken, so I had to just kind of wing it all the way there. But fortunately, it was literally a straight shot. So I went there and I got it, and I went home and opened it, and I did not take the dock out until Monday.
Okay, you're getting ahead. My experience, I missed the pre-order window. But I went to the local Walmart that has served me quite well before I went to work, thanks to the implorings of my wonderful wife, and I was able to get a Switch. There was about 5 on the cart and about 10 collector's editions of Zelda there. So I very briefly contemplated buying that too, but then decided not to.
You did not. Because you're not a sucker.
I thought it.
Do you guys know?
Oh,
go on.
No, please.
I was just going to ask, do you guys know what the situation is now? Can you walk into a store and buy one of these?
Yeah. I'd love to talk about it. Let's table that for just a moment, because I think that'll be a good rounding back here after we all talk a little bit more. Let me just say this, though. I got there at 6:40 in the morning and picked this thing up, and then it sat in my car until about 7 o'clock in the afternoon.
How did you live?
It was tough. It was probably the most difficult thing I've done in my entire life,
I do find that, like, every day I'm like, I really would just want to come home and marvel at that hardware some more.
Why don't you put it in your car and just go out to your car like a total normal person and just play it for like an hour at lunch?
First of all, I only take half an hour lunches.
Okay.
So there's that.
I mean, I should only take half hour.
What's a half hour lunch?
That day, though, I did take a half day, and by the end of the day, everybody knew. In fact, at drinks tonight, the people I was drinking with asked me how my Switch was and asked if I was going to be podcasting about it tonight.
Nice.
Jeff, what did you drink tonight?
I had...
What's your drink of choice?
I had Funky Bow or something.
What the hell?
That sounds like a craft beer.
It's a double IPA.
Okay, nice.
It was
Yeah,
good.
lovely.
IPAs are gross.
You're a monster.
People are. Yeah, you people are disgusting. Well, you people being Jamie are disgusting.
IPAs taste like you took a fish and you crammed it into a cereal box.
Look, the whole point of drinking is to have something that, when you first put it in your mouth, offends you on like a visceral level, and then you're like, "Oh, I can tolerate this."
Jamie, I usually find that it's there's very few other splits in life of dislike or love of IPA. Nobody's like, IPA, it's okay.
Yeah, the bartender was like,
it's either you love it or you hate it.
Yeah, I feel like I wish I loved it too. Like I don't like that I don't like it because I want to be. I feel like it's like the working man's drink. I want to be able to be working in a coal mine in Iowa and go to my bar and get an IPA, get in a fight with a man because he farted, and order an IPA and have a beard, and I'll never be that man.
No, you won't. I'm also
to repeal Obamacare,
disconnecting you, and you're never going to be on this
Act.
podcast again. Don't you? I just like to lap up the Midwesternness of that. I just want to lap up the Midwesternness of it. It's so kitschy.
Of what?
Of your statement there. It's so Midwestern.
What? I have deep roots in the Midwest.
Wait,
Deep roots.
coal mines are like Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure
West Virginia.
there's got to be a coal mine somewhere in Iowa.
Iowa is just a large coal mine.
More or less, yeah. Video game capital of the
butter
world.
deposits everywhere.
Video game
Yes.
capital of the world, by the way.
By video game, do you mean butter?
No, it was the video game capital of the world, and then Twin Galaxies left. So we are now just a smoking crater as we were before. Anyway, talking about Switch stuff. So I guess then my next question is, you guys got that sweet Switch box. Nice fabrication on the outside. Good cardboard, good stock on that bad boy.
The lines were very
Oh,
clean.
so clean. What did you do? You popped that thing open, and your first thought was,
Griff, you actually gave it the Griffin's Amiibo Corner treatment by putting that thing in your
sure
mouth.
did.
My first thought was, get that thing up and running as soon as possible. Put the Joy-Cons on, start the console. Get right into it. What about you, Griff?
I was immediately struck by holy iPod packaging. Like it was Apple kind of veneer across everything, where it has its little nooks and crannies for everything. Like it's a very
It was Apple in cardboard.
I mean, Apple's
in corrugated
Apple's cardboard as well. It had that look of
upscale cardboard.
a very nice packaging design, which you typically, when I think Nintendo console, I think styrofoam pulling out of a box and a million different subscriptions to Nintendo Power and all this horse crap flying out. Like this seemed like designed for a new generation of people that like Apple products.
Holy shit, there's like 1 million coal mines in Iowa.
Are there really?
I was just joking. I found an interactive map of coal mines in Iowa.
Are there coal mines in every state, though? How many coal mines are there in Maine?
I don't know, but like Des Moines is like coal city. Are you?
Griffin, are you in a mine right now?
Yeah.
Nobody told me I wasn't, so I would assume I am.
I'm in an Iowa state of mines.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what you're saying. I think this is a whole new type of hardware presentation from Nintendo. I don't think that they've ever made a device that is like this in tune with what consumers want right now,
Totally.
except for maybe the original NES. Because if you look at the original NES and you look at the Apple computers that were out at the time, there's actually a lot of similarities there. The ridges in the gray, the black interspersing with the gray. I feel like since then it's just been like the worst garbage. Like the N64 is the ugliest system I've ever seen.
That controller is an ergonomic masterpiece.
But this is beautiful. I would not be
All
embarrassed.
three of my hands had a perfect place to go.
I love paying for 100% of real estate and only using 2/3 of it.
No, I agree, Griff. That's actually a really good point. That when you open the packaging, you're literally just greeted with the tools you need to play a game immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And the instructions
is
are on the
pretty cool.
outside. It's so charming.
Yeah, and you don't even need to
Yeah.
plug it in necessarily. It says to, but you could just turn that bad boy on and get going.
Which is exactly what I did.
Noise.
So yeah, good segue. What'd you do next? Tell me.
Well, I whipped up my dick.
Okay.
Ew.
Then I put it away. And I cried. Still not bigger, I said to myself. One day. I just turned it on and started updating and threw Zelda in and loaded it up immediately. What about you guys?
Do you want to say it? Do you want to do that again without talking about your dick?
Is this so you can cut?
No.
I turned it on and then
No. I said not about the dick.
I made the good things happen. And then I inserted.
Jamie, save us.
Yep. I went to the store, and then it went, and then I bought nipple clamps and Shovel Knight, and those downloaded really, really quickly. At least for me.
Oh, you know what really blew my mind? I went through the system configuration process, which, first of all, thank God they're finally using internet time.
Yep.
And second of all, by the time I finished configuring with the adorable little menus you click through, it was like, hey, your system update's ready.
Yeah.
And I was like, this changed my life.
That's crazy. You guys rocking the white background or the black background?
Dark background.
all day,
Yeah,
every day.
only choice there is.
Yeah.
Yep.
True. Team Rowlett, true.
Yep.
Team
I
Real.
pretty much did the same thing, guys. I booted up and launched it in handheld mode.
Griffith, at what point did you decide this mode is trash and the inferior method of playing? How long did it take?
Well, maybe I'll get to that in a moment here. So we're all now at the point in which we've accessed the console. We're playing. Let me just seed this thought here with my own thoughts, and that is, I was suddenly struck by how desolate that system was. Like, you turn it on, and it's like. And then a little
it's
tumbleweed
true.
rolls
Like,
across the screen, and you're like,
It literally
There's no
does
happy
in 1-2
music.
Switch.
There's no like, come to the me land. It's just like, here you go.
For you.
Come to the shop. Why not? There's a panel of 9
it's
things
like
in it.
it's like, hey, this is where your games would be if you bought any, idiot. And I was like, oh, I guess that's true, huh?
It definitely is very scaled back, but it's funny because, and again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I have really come to appreciate the minimalism of that layout.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think it scales super well.
And it makes all the little things seem so momentous. Like, do you want to check out your controller settings? The button's huge. Just click on it. Just take a look.
How's your battery doing?
How long did you guys spend in the calibration screen just spinning that little dial?
Didn't even know there was.
I haven't done that. I have not had a single connectivity
Nope,
issue.
not one.
I tested, yeah, and I tried to replicate, and I could not.
Interesting.
which
Maybe
really
this was
pleases
like
me.
early units. Maybe they rushed some of the early units or something. I don't know.
No, I think we're just lucky.
Okay, good.
And we don't have aquariums, which apparently every game reviewer just loves fish.
I could definitely see that.
No, they actually, someone did a teardown, and they
Is
looked
this
at
another
the logic
Reddit?
boards.
Another Reddit facts
off.
coming at you.
Fuck off.
Reddit facts.
Someone did a teardown and looked at the logic boards for both Joy-Con, and the reason why the left Joy-Con's having more difficulty is because the antenna is embedded in the circuitry, whereas on the right Joy-Con, it's a separate unit that's been soldered on. So it has to do with antenna placement and size of the antenna.
It'll be fixed in 1.5 in 2 years.
It will.
When we get our
it will.
1080
it definitely
screen.
will. But it's no problem for me at all. I've had no issue, so I'm very happy about that. For
Yeah.
what it's worth.
Yep, same here.
But I think when I first messed around with those Joy-Cons, I was like, oh, these are not going to be good. I don't know if you guys had that feeling too. You're like, these are really small.
Yep, I hated them at
be
first.
a problem.
I did have to change, and I talked to you guys about this briefly. I did have to change the way that I hold the right one. My thumb does not hover over the stick like it normally would. The first joint of my thumb is on that stick, so that the tip of my thumb is like hovering over one of the face buttons, and like that is super comfortable. And I can't believe that no controller has been like that until now. Actually.
Yeah, sure.
I really have got to say that I love those tiny analog sticks. I think they are.
What is wrong with you people? Okay, that's fine. You deserve your own.
No,
Yep.
I really do. I hate when analog sticks have giant fields of motion, and that's my big gripe with the Pro Controller. The analog sticks have way too much play.
Okay, fair enough. I guess I could see that. Sometimes
I like the Pro
I've
Controller
played
a
some
lot.
like open world games, like I specifically thinking back to like Infamous on the PlayStation 4, and you're just constantly like having to readjust your thumb on that nub when you're running everywhere. So yeah, I got you, Jeff. I guess that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And the buttons, they're small, but they're like also perfect.
That I can't agree with.
I like the buttons.
That's because you have big monster heads. Listen, those buttons are injected with their symbols, all right? They're not printed
No,
up there.
you listen. These coal mining mitts have no place being around one of these little dainty city boy Nintendo Switches.
My daddy and my granddaddy and my granddaddy's grandpappy didn't spend the 30 years of their lives.
The joystick on my
mines.
John Deere is huge. There's tons of play.
So I could use no baby girl joysticks.
Okay, so sounds like initial impressions, everybody just started playing. What was the first thing you started playing?
Zelda.
Zelda.
Really?
Oh no, that's wrong. Actually, I jumped right into Spectre Knight, which is awesome, and that was my first game I played on it. And my immediate first thought when I booted that up, I actually started it on the TV, and then took it out just to like test how quickly it would switch, and it switched very quickly. My first thought,
Please stay on
that-
brand. It's change. Nothing. No. You know, you got to say it's
Joy-Con?
not switch. It's change.
Joy-Con?
Joy-Con?
Joy-Con.
How many Joy-Con do you own, Griffin?
I own Joy-Con.
Do you have Joy-Con or do you have Joy-Con?
Yes.
So I took it out of the dock and I was like, hey, this screen is really bright. That's awesome. I was worried that it would not be bright enough, but it totally is. I think it's at the expense of some color. I definitely notice when I play things on my TV. I do have a plasma, which
Yeah.
is, but I do notice the colors are more vibrant
Oh, a plasma.
on the.
Well, they're more saturated. So I noticed the switch, the change. When I go to the TV mode, everything's a little deeper, but it's also like a darker, bolder hue. So I think it's less color accurate on the TV, but it just has a certain poppiness to it, especially evident in Zelda.
It's definitely not color accurate on the. Everything's washed out on the tablet, which is fine. I think it needs to be.
But washed
'cause
out
it's-
is different than color accurate, though. I mean, washed out is just a lighting issue.
I think that the screen overall, like tonally, I think it's really. I think even at the lowest brightness, I think that it's just tuned really bright. If that makes any sense.
It
But
does,
But
yeah, it
that's
does.
fine, and I would
Good
much
for
rather.
visibility, yeah.
I would much rather it be that way than not that way,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's. I mean, I have played it sitting outside briefly, and I could see it perfectly, like in direct sunlight.
In your car,
No,
hooked
actually,
up to your stereo speaker.
on my deck.
I did the same thing, Jamie. I brought it outside to test that too.
Nice.
Jesus Christ, you fucking monsters! Just because it's portable doesn't mean you play it exposed to. the
Got to put it
elements.
through its paces, baby.
What if a fleck of dirt got on it?
It has a
Well,
plastic.
that's why you
screen
buy
for a
two,
reason.
Jeff.
That's true. Yeah, I need to have my backup switch just in case of a catastrophe.
Although having a plastic screen is really annoying for us, I think for broader audience, the kids that are buying this thing, I think having a plastic screen on it is actually a stroke of brilliance.
Yeah, so the reasoning that I heard, I believe it was either in the stress test that I watched or it was in iFixit, was it won't crack when you drop your console on concrete like
That's
fucking
good.
Jeff Gerstmann, adult man baby did.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited to wear a different giant bomb shirt to every single day of PAX. But back to the Switch.
Exactly. Yes. So you guys, Jamie, you played. What did you say? Your first game was which one?
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight. And
Spectre Knight.
Jeff, you went right into Zelda.
I did, yeah.
I threw that bitch straight into tabletop mode. Pulled out the Joy-Con and played Snipper Clips with my
From the moment we met.
with my nephew-in-law.
Let's start playing.
Your nephew-in-law?
Yeah.
Once removed?
No, just regular nephew-in-law.
We're all family in Iowa.
The lead singer of White Denim?
No. What? Who's that guy?
A cow?
Yeah, we calibrated it and used the stupid
have
little
nipples, Chris. Can you milk
little
me?
clippers. Yep, to play that thing. It was not ideal.
Is that just because you were playing it on the tiny screen or what?
Because the Joy-Con are too small and the screen actually wasn't really the
hands.
issue. Like, yeah, sure, you're playing on a small tablet. Well, whatever, it's fine. But just really, for me, my initial thought was like, oh, this is awful. Like,
Hey, you know what I'm never going to use again? Those fucking wrist straps.
yeah, great point. So,
I hate them so much.
speaking of Snipper Clips, I went on to play some more later with my wife, and we put the as I unpacked the rest of the box, I put the rail attachments on that made the bumpers bigger. And Jeff, just like you said, that thing is
Your
the
Joy-Con
worst.
are lost to you forever. You will never use them.
Yeah,
again.
put those clips on and then throw them into your gutters because they are garbage now.
I completely disagree. I played Snipper Clippers in bed with Shannon when we were using
That's
the Joy-Con
disgusting.
without even the thing. And it
Who
was
is
amazing.
milking who is what I want to know.
It's mutual.
Were any submarine sandwiches consumed in that moment? So you were okay with it, Jamie? Did you put the wrist attachments on?
No, we didn't even, because I was playing Zelda in bed, and then I was like, hey, Shannon, you're here now. We're going to play this game right now. And so I just took it off. I didn't even bother to get the things, and it worked fine.
How did you
that's why you're-
hold the system up?
With a pillow.
Ugh,
Oh yeah.
peasant.
We had a great time.
You
It was
didn't
awesome.
purchase the bed adapter?
It wraps around the entire bed.
Brought to you by Casper.
All the 20-somethings hop into a Volkswagen bed that has a Switch attachment on it.
So you actually thought,
yeah.
you thought that was fine, just both you holding the Joy-Con. So I guess we're here now. It's Joy-Con time. You like that? You like that little tic-tac?
I like that little tic tac. I think the wrist straps are the worst, but I think if you don't put them on, they're kind of okay.
They're just as bad as they
Not
were
great.
before.
I like all of it. I'm a big fan. I have my hands. So if you were to give me a grape, it would look like I was palming a basketball. That's my issue. So for people like me with weird raccoon-sized hands, it's actually perfect. But I can imagine.
They're
How many
pretty
times
small.
did you drop
I don't
your
really function
Joy-Con
super
into
well.
the water and then it dissipated?
I think that they're serviceable. I think in sideways mode. I hate the wrist straps because they make the L and R button super mushy and they're impossible to take off once you put them on.
100% agree.
But but I think that just using them in sideways mode is fine. I did like a little bit of bomber around with Jessica, and she wasn't feeling well. She was like coming down with something, so we only did it for like maybe 2 minutes, and it also is not ideal on the tablet screen because the action is pretty small.
That's a bummer, man.
But I get it. It's really funny.
Nope.
It's a good one you made
Thanks.
That was a funny joke.
Thank you.
there. because it's sad. Right? That's the joke, right, guys?
Yep.
All right, just check.
Hey, don't get so bummer mad at me.
This humor is just blowing me away. You're explosive today, aren't you?
Somebody lit my fuse, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yep. I was about to go there. Anyway.
There's a man in my bum.
I'm more of an Obama man. Rather than a Trump man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I think they're fine. You have to hold them differently than you'd hold a normal controller, but they work. They're just not great.
You kind of have to like clamp, like a weird clamp, like you're Emperor Palpatine and you're shooting lightning at Darth Vader, and then
What the fuck are you talking about?
What are you?
Yeah, that
talking
classic
about?
scene when Emperor Palpatine shot lightning at Darth Vader. You remember?
I remember, but I don't understand how that relates to holding a fucking Joy-Con.
Imagine his hands in that weird like C-shape clamp, like a claw.
I have to Google this shit
Like
now.
he's playing an invisible piano. I gotcha.
I thought he just put his
A
arm out.
very
like he was
small
shooting
invisible piano.
Yeah, exactly. Griffin, thank you.
I know.
Thank you.
I saw the movies.
them. Palpatine, Vader,
It's just like how he killed Mace Windu,
electricity.
playing the very small piano. So, I did not care for this because I don't have gigantic bare hands like you guys seem to believe I do. But it's uncomfortable. Like, it's too small. I was playing with the right one, and every time I went to press the any button, I just hit start.
You mean the like plus and minus?
Yeah, it was
buttons?
just like, I press any button, it was just like, oops, start.
How do you guys feel about that placement, by the way? Up on the top of the controller like that.
On the
The plus
Joy-Con,
and
like
minus?
sideways, not great, because it's tiny as shit. But
How about vertically?
fine.
Yeah, I actually think I was worried that would be an issue, but I have not had an issue vertically reaching any buttons on that controller. I have not felt like I'm straining myself. I've never felt like, oh, this is weird or awkward. It's always just been, okay, this works.
Yeah.
Yep.
The hardest part for me is just getting used to Zelda's control scheme.
Yeah.
Which leads to me sometimes doing dumb things, because it's like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm with you there too, Jeff. Like playing Horizon Zero Dawn and then going right to Zelda it's been a constant struggle for me to be like, don't
So many bombs dropped on the ground.
click the stick in to run, you just crouch. Don't click the stick in to run, you just crouch.
Don't fucking hit the other one, because you'll just pull your scope out rather than
It was like when I was playing any game after Final Fantasy 15, I'm like, oh, combat, this is how it works.
Where is the jank? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
how come I can control things that are happening?
When is there going to be a QuickTime event? God damn it!
Right?
How will I kill this boss if I don't?
This
get a number of
open
buttons
world
to see
makes sense and isn't trash. No, I actually don't feel that way. I like Final Fantasy 15. But guys, we're playing the Switch. We're here. It's awesome. Now, I think the takeaway moment is everybody finds their niche with the Switch. Some people go tablet. Some people go handheld. Some people go dock. What was your choice? Jamie.
When I'm home, I'm on the TV. That's like late night, like chill time.
Late night.
If I'm supposed to be working, I'm obviously in tablet mode. And then when I come home, like after I walk the dog, I'm sitting downstairs, the dog on my lap. Then I'm in tablet mode there too. You know, it's a console for all seasons.
So wait, just to recap: when you're at home, it's on the TV. Then at work, it's on handheld, and then back at home, it's on handheld.
Yes.
Okay,
Before late
makes
night.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Late night is when he slides that baby right in.
Yeah.
Late
After the
night
day's
is
work
late night is
and then make sure he's got the protector on, and then he just slides it in.
Yeah. Let's slow
he's
it
ready to
down.
roll.
Let's slow it down to 20 frames per second or less.
tune into those blue channels. Jeff,
Yeah, so you're like a mixed usage scenario, Jamie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You're living the dream.
I'm living the dream.
I am purely handheld, except for last night for the very first time. I have played that console entirely in handheld mode.
Feels like the first time.
Such that I literally took the console out and the adapter and then just left everything else in there. And brought it upstairs eventually and said, I'm going to hook this up sometime. And then last night I was like, all right, I should probably do this. And actually, I want to talk about my setup because I think I have a good approach for that thing. So what I did, rather than, you know how everyone's like, oh, where do I put it? Like, if it's behind my TV, there'll be interference and I can't use the Joy-Con and all that shit.
No, who would ever say that? Those people are monsters.
Well, I'm curious as to where your guys' is. Do you have it in front of your television or what?
Below, in the stand with
In
all
your-
my other...
Yeah, open air entertainment system like people have in the 2000s because that's how you should have entertainment centers.
Exactly.
With no cabinet doors, no hardwood, none of that horse garbage.
Exactly. You go to IKEA, you get a nice plywood open air thing, you put your shit in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have an IKEA. Mine is open air, but what I ended up doing instead, so I was like, I really like how my gamepad is set up. I have my gamepad sitting in a stand over by the couch. And I was like, why don't I do that for the Switch? And it is the first console where that is legitimately quite easy to do, because it's very small. The actual footprint of the console is 3 inches by 8 inches or something. And so what I did is I bought a 15-foot HDMI cable and then hooked that up and threaded it along my wall and then popped it out onto my end table, and then I plugged the Switch adapter, which is also quite small, into a power strip underneath my end table. And so I have the Switch dock literally right next to me. So if I want to dock and undock, all I have to do is to reach over.
That's awesome. I can't do
Yeah.
that.
Must be
but
nice to
that's
dock
awesome.
so easy.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about docking. in this
Jeff,
house.
I love it. I think that to me that reminds me of reaching for the Sunday paper, sitting on your big lazy
Yeah.
boy, and you're
it's
just I'm going to play this thing right here in front of me.
Exactly, yeah. It feels so, perfect. It's like, if I'm going to turn into TV mode, I want it to be a Switch in Paradigm. I want it to feel different than just playing another console. So I can just slide it in there. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
Which is really cool. But I would say 95% of my usage has been handheld mode. Griff?
Opposite.
Crazy.
90% has been has been docked on the big screen, and then 10% has been handheld.
Hey, Griff, how are you enjoying your Wii U?
Actually,
You like it?
the Wii U?
Yeah, do you like your Wii U that you're playing? Zelda on?
Oh, do you mean the same console that I could play on a touchscreen from the bathroom, just like this one?
Yours has
But-
more than a 2-foot range. If I go literally into the next room, even though it would
Really?
be 10 feet away, it would not work.
Oh, I could go anywhere
I
in
can
the
play
house.
my gamepad.
Yeah.
I can play my gamepad in bed.
Yep.
I've done it before. It has intermittent latency issues, but it's pretty
I
solid.
mean, not all of us live in a fucking mansion in hacky sack, Jamie. Oh, sorry, just kidding. That is definitely not the accuracy of your life.
What?
No,
Yeah,
not hacky.
not hacky sack.
Different. So Griff, you went full docked mode, and talk to me about kind of your
Sure.
your rationale.
Yeah, so I did the thing like I mentioned before. Played it with the tabletop with the nephew, and then brought it home, and then set it up properly. I was gonna say cousin, but yeah,
In Iowa, it's so hard to tell.
it is. Yeah, it is.
Why not?
It is really. Yeah, you just switch between both of them. I set up it properly with the HDMI cables and chargers and whatnot, and put it underneath the television in its appropriate location, which the Wii U once occupied, and then I put it on the TV, and it took a little bit for I don't know what this is a topic for a different time, but my TV's gotten really weird lately, where I think it's getting smarter. I think it's getting smarter. I don't know how. But it took a while for it to register what is connecting to it. Finally got it, and then played Zelda, and was just smitten with it.
Are we talking about Zelda now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Zelda is amazing.
Yeah, I put Zelda on the big screen. And I'm like, oh, well, this is how we're going to play this game on the big screen, not the Etch-a-Sketch.
So let me ask you guys a general question. So you guys pop in Zelda, and like from the jump, you're both like, wow, this is the best game of all time. Is that true?
I wouldn't say like from the absolute get-go, but I would say like within pretty quickly it was something special.
Totally. Jeff, you nailed it.
Yeah.
For me, I'll just share my what happened with me, because I think I might be. I know I'm in the minority here. So I put it in, and I have no particular, history with Zelda.
I mean, it is tough to get over that Rachel epitaph that it just yells out right at the beginning. You're right.
You mean epitaph?
Epitaph. Thank you. The epitaph, the ipecac, the racial ipecac that just makes you barf everywhere.
Yeah, it was very controversial, but I think it's really.
Are you guys
forward.
playing the Switch like I am, where you ingest the cartridge that's covered in ipecac?
I'm surprised that Link is so anti-Semitic. I'm just going to put that out there.
I mean, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. I mean, PewDiePie blazed a trail.
That's true. That is true.
My first reaction was, this looks terrible. This looks so dated. This looks like an N64 game. The character animations are horrible. The art is just like stale, and there's nothing to it. And there's no setup for the story. I'm just thrown into this nonsense. This world is just bland. There's like a single tree here.
Jamie,
like
whoa. So the intro of this is you are Link waking up you are Zelda boy waking up in Matrix goo pool, and you're like, oh, old hat, been there, done that, boring. This is
No, I didn't say anything about the content. I'm just talking about the way
their
it looks.
faces don't look like weird ass dolls like Horizon. That's what I
you
wanna
just said that it was like you've seen this before.
No, what Jamie's saying is it's definitely a style over not style over substance, but it's definitely an art style over graphical prowess situation. I mean, it's I love the art style. I think it's gorgeous, but it is the geometry isn't great.
Gotcha.
No, so obviously you guys know how I feel about this game. I came around, but I'm just talking about my honest first how I thought when I turned the game on. Coming from Horizon, which is one of like the best looking games I've ever seen, to this, I was incredibly disappointed. I was almost put off. Seriously though, when you make Link run, it looks like he's having a seizure, and I was like, I can't handle this. This is terrible.
But every time a character talks in Horizon, it looks like their face is dislocating.
Yeah, both of you guys mentioned this before. Is like the with Horizon, the Uncanny Valley, and then just frame issues and stuff with Zelda. I don't see that stuff. So I guess I'll just bow out at that point, saying that.
I don't really agree with Jeff on the face stuff in Horizon. I don't like when it desyncs. I don't like when it desyncs when you're talking to a less than super important NPC. But I disagree. I think Horizon looks incredible. But I only mentioned that because I played that immediately before playing Zelda.
Yeah.
I also did not get I didn't understand what the game was going for at first. I think it seriously took me about maybe 10 hours to really understand what this game was trying to do. I was very annoyed by the fact that weapons broke. I was very annoyed by the fact that you have to keep an eye on how hot and cold you are, and there are certain items that can help you in that regard, but I missed them and I couldn't get them again. I was just very, very frustrated by a lot of aspects of this game, but it finally hit me when I was climbing a snowy mountain, and then it started raining and I lost my grip and I fell and died. But I wasn't frustrated. I just thought, wow, I really need to prepare better. And that's like a hard feeling to evoke from a player in a game like this, because you're really teetering on the edge of like frustration versus excitement. Like you don't want to make the person get so discouraged that they don't try again, but you also want to make it a challenge, because that's what makes all this so rewarding. And I finally, at that moment, I was like, I'm excited to like get up and prepare better and put on the proper clothes, cook the proper food, and try again to get up that mountain. Maybe when it's not raining again. And that's when I was like, this is the best, most important video game in a long time.
I think for me the thing that and you mentioned climbing, and I thought you were going to take that a different way, because I think climbing in that game is really important. I think just everything about climbing in that game is like a key part of why that game is so good, which is funny because it reminds, I think I sent you this story of how when Miyamoto was playing the prototype, apparently he just climbed trees for an hour. Because he's a wild man. But in all seriousness, I think the act of climbing and the act of traversal in that game takes on such importance. And I think that it just being and maneuvering in that world is so much more of a core part of the gameplay than Horizon, for example, which is also a fantastic game, but is very different in what it's going for. And I think it's really interesting that these two titles launched at the same time, because juxtaposed together, they, on the surface look similar, but they have very different goals. And I think what you were running up against, Jamie, was kind of coming at it thinking like, well, where is the narrative? Where is, why am I not getting a motivation for this character? Why am I not, exploring bonds? Where are the crazy enemies that are supposed to be everywhere? But that game, it's not quite like that in Zelda. It's a very different feel.
And what it replaces that with, and what the climbing mechanic allows the game to have, is this sense of it being like, for me, the first truly open world game I've ever played. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
The first
Wow.
open world game it's the first open world game where I've actually felt like the world matters.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like open world is usually code for, well, we're just going to make a big old map and then just, like, put some points of interest in it and you're going to move around them. But I feel like this game is like open world with world design. Like, open world, except, like, yes, the world part matters,
Okay,
not just
that's
the open part.
a good point, because typically open world game, you're like, this is my hey, go listen to the old podcasts that I have online, but don't, because they're all going to disappear going forward, because I'm not going to continue the subscription. So here it is. What sucks about open world games is there's no reason why you should be doing anything you're doing, but in Zelda, there is no reason you shouldn't not be doing what you're doing, which is just exploring.
Double negative.
Yes, the double negative is key there. In most Western or most common
Midwestern?
Yeah, most Midwestern open world games, you're just kind of like thrown hither thither, like doing your Spider-Mans, doing your Red whatevers, run around this open world, doing your Nico Bellics, and it's like, why am I doing anything here? I'd rather critical path it, because I have no motivation to do anything, to go to the bowling alley or go play Five Finger Fillet or go join the Dark Brotherhood. Like, there's the only reason why you would do it is just because you're like, well, I'm gonna just accidentally fall into it. In Zelda, it's like, yes, accidentally fall into it. Please just do what you want to do, because it is all obfuscated by the map. It is all open-ended, and even in the narrative sense, they're like, you don't remember anything. You literally do not remember this world, so go discover it.
And as I discovered, you literally, I got frustrated with the game, and I wanted to critical path it for a little while, thinking that if I did what the game wanted me to do, I would get stronger and I'd be better able to handle some of these enemies and whatnot.
Nope.
So I did some side quests, and then I was like, all right, time to critical path. And I went to my quest log, and I discovered that you cannot critical path this game.
No, you can't.
Because the main quest says there are these 4 things that you need to do.
That's not the main quest.
The main quest is defeat
Yes.
Oh, well,
which you can do, which I actually think is critical to why this game succeeds in an open world design. But
totally.
Carry on, Jamie.
So yeah, I completely get what you guys are saying, but that's for like speedrunners. I'm talking about the average normal sauce player.
It's
the
not
babbies.
Like,
the babbies.
The babbies. How are they formed?
So I wanted the game to say, all right, if you want to crit path, go here. That doesn't happen. It said go to one of these 4 regions. I said to myself, all right, I'm going to go to the west of the starting area to a desert because I'm sick of cold stuff. And I went to the desert, and it's awesome. And I'm, like, kind of crit pathing the game, but I'm not really. The game, like, tricked me into doing what it wants me to do, which is just explore aimlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can I also say that the fast travel system is, like, pitch
Oh,
perfect,
totally.
in how it's implemented. I think that, first of all, when I first saw the towers, I was like, oh, God, Assassin's Creed. But those towers are awesome. I love the towers.
And they're little puzzles.
They're little puzzles.
Oh!
And there's only like 7 of them in the whole world, which is perfect.
There's a lot more than 7.
There's a lot more.
There's a lot more than 7.
There's at least
really?
3 or 4 times that many.
Yeah, there's
least.
probably close to at least 15.
Okay, well, there's as many towers as there are map regions.
Yes.
And only that many.
Yes.
And each tower unlocks a huge swath of map.
As a person who's played almost every Assassin's Creed game, they did it better here.
In
Yes.
Zelda. Yeah. They feel meaningful. They don't feel just like little
So
blips.
I think it's time to announce it's time to go off the rails. We've been here for an hour. Hey, listener, if you've made it this far, it's the show is off the rails. Let's just get raw dog talking.
Slide those
Yeah,
Joy-Con
yeah, baby.
right off.
Take them off the rail. It's time. Pull your bumpers off, baby.
I'm so scared. I don't know what's happening.
Take your
don't know
screen
what's happening
protector
either.
off because we're going to talk about video games.
Okay, I thought we were.
No, I was just warning the audience, like, put on your bibs because it's splash zone time. Because audience is going to get
Watch
wet.
dogs. All right. So where were you going with that, Griff?
Don't know. But,
What the?
All right.
yeah, thanks.
Did you have any thoughts you wanted to share about towers?
Sure. One thought that I was going to say was, why is Zelda amazing? I will answer that because Zelda has done something that's super cool, and it's very easy to fall into the praise of Nintendo, like, ooh, Nintendo, you do so much cool stuff. But this game, Zelda Breath of the Wild, cherry picks, and they do a lot of cool things that have been done by video games already in the game sphere. What they do with it is they take the great portions of games that were very successful and they blend it into one beautiful, homogeneous, and that is key, homogeneous situation. It is not just neat. Oh, this is cool. Everything flows together. I think we probably have alluded to that already, but there is something actually magical about this Zelda game where we're like, wow, Nintendo has taken these game design decisions made by many other companies and turned it into this one, like, really, really delightful experience. So if you've never played any game that's like Skyrim or Assassin's Creed or how should I say, Zelda, you can get in here and you can experience that because what they do is they take the high points of those things, like the towers, like you said, Jeff, or like the open world exploration of the Elder Scrolls games, and they distill what is amazing about those things, and they don't waste your time with the fat. And that's what I absolutely love about Zelda. Is that's why I keep wanting to go back to it, because it's so smart and so lean and so just it beckons you to come back. And I think that's the difference between this and Horizon Zero Dawn is that game is a game if you want to go on a story. This is a game if you want to play a goddamn video game.
I agree with you, but I want to push back on one
Sure.
thing you said, which is I feel like I completely understand what you're saying. I kind of would push back because I think that this game lets you chew the fat, like in a way that other games don't. Like
I think it takes stuff that would ordinarily just be like kind of throwaway.
Yeah.
And it manages to execute it in a way that doesn't feel patty,
right?
That feels rewarding. Like
finding
those stupid little Koroks is for some reason way more fun than it ought to be.
Jeff, like you explained the other night, like that Kakuria Village thing where that person's like, oh, light the fires. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a bunch of nonsense. And then I went and did it, and it took me like 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, that was a good
really?
use of my time. The game will do a side quest, but it does not have... It has a respect for your time in it. That's what I really like about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think it's a game, it's a world that you want to waste time in, because wasting time never feels like wasting time. It's always like, it's like the rewards are so finely tuned. Like, it's the fact that the weapons are always breaking means that getting new weapons is always a good thing. The fact that rupees are a little bit tough to come by makes them feel rewarding. Plus, there's no shortage of expensive items in the world. It's just, everything is a good reward. Like, every shrine is an increment towards becoming a more powerful hero. I really actually love that the shrines are tied to character progression.
Yep.
Because each one feels meaningful. It's like, oh, I'm actually making Link better by doing
But it's also making you as a game player better, which is what I absolutely love about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, my experience with the shrines is I go in there expecting to have like a fun little, what is it? Left brain is that the logical side? A fun little left brain activity to balance out the exploration and combat. I don't go in there thinking like, oh, they're gonna make me better at Zelda necessarily.
No.
It's like, oh, I wonder what awaits me.
I like it because you go into those situations and the shrines, and it's like, oh, I never thought about using this tool like this before.
I think the world design in the game really encourages you to think about your tools. And I think if you're not doing that a lot, then you're going to be missing a lot of opportunities. I think it's very clever about kind of little nudges that encourage you to use tools you have, but they're never very overt.
Sure, and the shrines are the overtness. They say, yo, you can use this like this. And I'm like, oh, shit, climbing up a waterfall.
Some of them are. But they do. Some of them don't really signpost. Yeah. Some of them are a little bit more subdued about it, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I've been stumped a couple times. It's nice.
Yeah, I don't think I've been fully stumped yet, but it's there's definitely been some moments where I'm like, what the fuck? And it doesn't hand it to you. I mean, the only hint you might get is the name of the shrine.
Yes.
Which I think
yes,
awesome.
That's so good.
Yeah. 2 words that tells you everything that you could want to know about this. I think is perfect.
Yep. It takes the essence of it like an old Zelda game where you run around this world map and then you go into a dungeon and you're like, okay, now I'm given this tool and I make this tool fit into a different application 8 times, and then now I meet a boss which is using that tool in a different 9th time, but this one is like, no, just do this once and learn how this thing works interestingly once, but then do that 120 times.
Yeah. Also, it's not like the old Zelda game in that you don't have to burn one tree to find it. It takes you to the last dungeon. That was a really good decision, guys.
Yeah.
That was in the last one?
That was in the first Zelda game.
Oh, okay.
There was a random tree on the world. Maybe someone told you where it was, but literally you get a lamp or whatever, or like an ability to burn things, and there's one tree on the world map that hides
Jeff,
the last
have you beat Zelda 1?
Oh, hell no.
What?
I don't care that much about that game.
Oh, okay.
It's only okay. Like most Nintendo games, it hasn't really aged well.
All right.
It's like Metroid. It's like, I mean, Zelda's fun, but it's not, it's fine.
All right, well,
Have you?
yes, I did. Beat it, front to back.
Front to back? Why don't you beat it back to front? Did you beat the second
Just
quest,
like you wipe.
Did you beat the second quest?
Zelda 2 is horrible. I'm sorry. That one is not one I can get behind.
Not Zelda 2, bro. The second quest.
I think you just blew his mind.
Wow. You didn't know there's a second quest in the original Zelda? Where they literally just rearranged the world map and the dungeons?
I think he's dead. I think he
Griffin.
killed himself.
I was just going to see how long it took.
All right. Well,
No,
there
I didn't
is.
know, but I did beat the regular game.
Okay, yeah.
That's
So
just
how'd
me
you feel
though.
about
Just
burning
a
the
regular
tree?
guy.
Did you look up where to burn
Just
the tree?
a regular guy,
Fine,
just farting in bars.
Wait, did you look up the tree burning location, or did you just do that on your own?
Heck no, I looked it up.
Yeah, all right. Like a good Nintendo game, you have to look that shit up online.
Yeah.
Or call Nestor.
Yes, online,
somehow-
just like the game was made in 1986.
Yeah, that's why I said you have to call Nestor, man.
you somehow don't need to look stuff up for this game, which boggles my mind.
No,
how it can be
it's
that
amazing.
intricate and that open and that freeform, and you don't need to look anything up, and it just somehow naturally presents itself to you in a way that makes sense. It's amazing.
There hasn't been a game in which I have waited for actually paid attention to the tool tips than this game. Like, I am reading them voraciously because they have critical pieces of information, like how to shield surf.
I still don't know how to do that.
I showed you.
I forget. I forget things.
I don't shield surf very often. I should do it more.
I caught a seal.
What?
I caught a seal in the frickin' desert.
You caught him or you murdered his ass?
I caught him and I rode his ass
Whoa.
on my shield.
Well, now I don't know.
I caught a seal. I caught a sand seal. He's a seal, but he's on the sand. And then I hooked a
Did he
rope.
evolve into a dugong?
No, I hooked a rope onto his back, and then I told him, yeah, and then I was surfing on the sand on my shield being pulled by...
That sounds freaking awesome. Jeff, I would say that this is the same situation that I had with talking with you the other night where I'm like, the one thing that's super cool about, well, not the one thing, but one of the coolest things about this game is I approach a situation. Puzzle, not puzzle. Situation is a good way to describe it. And then I say, man, wouldn't it be awesome if I could do this? And then I try it.
And then you
and then I totally can.
Yeah.
It's really good about giving you a robust set of tools. It's not an overwhelming amount, but it is... The stuff they give you has so many fun applications. So that's really cool. I'm really excited to go to Desert Land.
And I'm really glad to hear that you guys beat the optional boss that's harder than Ganon, the riding a deer. That's the one that I'm referring to.
Truly the most difficult boss, yeah.
Yeah.
I did beat the Red Lion.
I don't know what that is.
All right.
Griffin
Jeff
does.
looked strats up online, just to put that out there. Yep, that means cheating.
Filthy cash.
He cheated.
I just wanted to see what some hot tips. I knew he was like an endgame level.
So you
foe.
should probably just delete your save because you cheated.
That's true, yeah. I did find a blue variant of him, which destroyed me.
Nice.
So there's
Nice.
that. Have you guys been fighting the big old blubbery moblin dudes, the Hinoxes?
Nope.
No.
Oh, I tried to
No.
and I died.
Didn't touch them. They're sleepy.
You can shoot them in the eye. They're not too bad.
I
They're not too bad.
I was running between his legs and then hitting him and then running away before he would sit on my face.
too close to real life.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Jen.
No, they're not too bad. I would give them a shot because they're pretty easy. And you can shoot them in the eye and then they'll just fall over and let you wail on them for a while.
So I did not have a quest or a...
Hey,
quest or any...
quick question to deviate here. Have either of you seen Suicide Squad?
Nope.
You guys know who Harley Quinn is?
Yep.
Okay.
Harley Quinn?
Harley
I know
Quinn. Harley
Harley
Quinn.
I know Harley Quinn.
Oh. Things are happening on the screen. Well, fellow
that's all.
listeners, Griffin has briefly showed us some very disturbing images.
I missed them. I'm
Don't worry
sad.
about
That's
it.
right.
It was just his lovely
We'll just
wife
probably
doing
take
all
a
kinds of
picture of
crazy
this
things.
later.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's real good, and it makes the small stuff count.
I
want
want to tell you guys a story real quick. So I did a shrine quest that involved me climbing a high mountaintop in the snow. So I did that, and then I looked over and I saw that I hadn't actually scaled the highest peak of this mountain. And I said, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to scale it because that's what this game's all about. Mm-hmm. So I go over to it, and as I get closer and closer, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to give you any specifics.
Oh no!
But I see something. This clearly isn't just a mountain. And there's
that mountain's a man.
There's something wrong with this, and so I scale the mountain, and
Would you say that mountain is divine?
I become embroiled in one of the coolest mountain scaling. Literally, this fight starts at the top of the mountain and goes all the way to the base.
Was there snowboarding?
I did not snowboard. There was a lot of paragliding. One of the coolest, like, completely optional, not related to... actually, it was related to a shrine, but not related to anything else. Just this thing that you could just miss if you didn't happen... There's no indication in the game story whatsoever that you should go to this mountaintop. And I did, and I was rewarded for it in, like, a major way with a sequence that would be the ending of any other game.
That is the thing about this game. It's when you go off the beaten path, the rewards almost always justify it. It's never like you go somewhere and you're like, oh, it's just an empty area. There's always something. Right. It's like a Korok or like a shrine or like
kind of like what I was alluding to before we started recording. I went off the beaten path and then I found a really amazing sword.
Sword?
Yes.
Were you able to handle said sword?
No, I couldn't master it.
You couldn't master the sword? Oh, that's too bad.
But yes, Jamie, I agree with you. This game is incredible in its just like moment to moment things. And permit me to tell you the same story kind of like you did, Jamie. Jeff, I told you this one before the other night where at a point in the game, what happens is you have to go to certain locations on the map, and you have to go to them with little direction on where they are. So essentially you're given a picture, and you have to go there. So
look at this photograph.
Yes. Very good. Yeah, monster feet and all that. So if you haven't explored the world map, which is humongous, which we've established, how would you know what is what and where is where? So I was like, oh crap, I have to do this. So I was super angry because I was like, I think I know where this is. I went to that location and I was like, oh crap, this will not do. This is not what I thought it was. So then I got really angry. I grabbed a horse and just rode around the entire map, just counterclockwise circumnavigated the entire world. And 2/3 of the way through it, I was fed up. I climbed a tower and I'm like, oh, cool, tower. I guess I'll just go here. And did a couple quests there, grabbed the horse again, and then I'm like, okay, moving on. This sucks. I don't know how I'm going to progress this forward. Because the most recent quest that I have says I have to go do this stuff. Now, the smart decision would be go pursue the 4 divine beasts. But I was like, well, this is the most recent thing that I have to do. So I went to go pursue that, and I was fed up. I was so angry. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to know these dumb things on this stupid map with these dumb pictures? And I'm trudging along. And I literally get off my horse, and I'm like, okay, well, here we go. This is it. I'm going to just leave this stupid fucking quest to go back and leave Lonald in this dumb area in the middle of nowhere because I'm tired of riding around this gigantic map. And I exit the horse, stand on the ground, and pan the camera behind me, and it is one of the landmarks that is in the picture. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, this is like finding the oasis in the desert kind of a moment where I'm like, oh, really? This is not the game saying, oh, you tried so hard, here you go, now here's your little, nugget of truth. No, I pushed my way super hard through this thing, and then I'm like, I'm so done and tired kicking this rock, and then I just turn around and I see, oh, crap, that's the thing that I need to do. And I go run up to it, and then I initiate the quest. I get so much cool stuff from it, and then it starts pushing me forward into it, and I'm like, the wind beneath my sails has risen. I'm ready. So that, for me, was just this incredible moment where I'm like, man, this game is cool. Yeah. And then that was just the notch out of the whole it was the bite out of the elephant that I needed to get moving forward. and I've been finding more and more of these things, and I've been being smarter and smarter about my game, and I just have been being better about exploring, and there's actually so much fun to be had with just running around the map.
Oh God, yes.
While looking like you're having a seizure.
Yes.
I was going to say, I'm also really impressed that the game does a really good job of taking things in when it wants to. So, like, I made my way over to Zoraland, which I don't think is too much of a spoiler, because obviously there are races in this game, because Link hates them all.
Yep.
And I was really impressed with how the game kind of deftly scaled back open world into kind of a more path-driven linear experience.
Yeah, good point.
I was able to game it a little bit by kind of abusing. I pulled up my paraglider and I was able to hop off a tower, basically.
Yep, me too.
Like climb up a wall. Yeah. I ended up going back over to the shiny tower and starting from the beginning anyway, because I wanted the shiny tower. But I was just very impressed with the game's ability to kind of get me on a designed path
And get you off.
Yeah.
And get me off at the.
But no, you're right, Jeff. Like so much of the game is like it's freedom everywhere, but then once they start clamping down on those freedoms, are like, well, actually, you can't do that or this. Like you can't glide that far because the chasm's too long. You can't climb up this mountain because the mountain's too tall and it's wet and you'll just fall off. So it does it does a good job of like gating you in a very smart way that you wouldn't really think, because 90 or most of the time you're not encountering that.
Exactly, yeah. So it's clever gating, and it doesn't feel like it's betraying the nature of the world. It's not just like, well, that path's not open yet; it's under construction. Right. It's like, no, it's raining all the time here, so yeah, you can kind of cheese it a little bit and climb if you're good, but like this is kind of the way you're going to go. And, you know, you can take the high road or the low road, but you're going this way, you're going to see these things. And that's cool. That's really cool that they can draw it in and expand it kind of as they please. And I think it really speaks to the strength of that world design.
Right. I think there's something really cool about that, too, where it's like, once you as a player determine that you're going to pursue those avenues, the funnel becomes tighter. So if I'm not interested in doing that thing, like I've never felt like I stumbled into the main quest. Like it's usually like I'm pursuing it and then it sucks me in and there's no other options because the game is like, okay, now it's time to do this and this and this. It's welcome to the corridor, which it's actually a delight and very nice to do that, because normally you're like, well, I have this entire world to deal with. And then when you finally commit to saying, well, I would actually like to just do this one little avenue here, yes, it's ready for you, and it pulls you in with a nice embrace.
Make your own corridor.
I'd like to also speak to, so I did like Zoraland first, before I even went to the other village that the game tells you to go to. And in so doing, I realized that, like, I went to a harder area before I went to a easy area.
Good point.
And I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But then I was like, wait, I'm just going to skip all of this. And literally, I hang glided over to the tower, climbed the tower, and then hang glided from the tower to the village.
Sure.
Which I love. There's the game is really good about giving you freedom when you want it, and letting you kind of decide how much you want to go off the beaten trail. Which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. But it will also punish you the crap out of you if you are like, I'm just going to jump into the crazy area right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no kidding. There are definitely no shortage of challenging enemies in that game.
Right. I just recently went into an area where it's like, this looks like a normal place. And then it's like, oh no, fire and death is going to rain down upon you. And I'm like, oh, well, that sounds bad. And I had to replay it probably 15 times to get through it.
Jesus Christ.
And I finally did.
That game does not fuck around. Yeah, it's definitely
tough. But the crazy thing is about the game is it's like, did I get lucky this one time and I just kept pursuing it? Did I do something different? Like, what is actually happening here? The game really, really, really rewards persistence. In the same way, like, the tooltips are like, do you keep beating your head against the same situation? Perhaps you should try a different approach. And it's like, well, what if I don't and I keep beating my head against it? It's like, well, I guess you win that too.
It does feel good to like use lots of combat tactics though. Like I started using the bow, and I think the game does a good job of not overwhelming with the skills that you have. Like you know the bow jump,
Yes,
where you can paraglide into your crazy
Yep.
bow. I've been using that, and
Yeah.
like sneak strikes and drops, and
Yeah.
And when I was fighting the Lionel, the dude that's like a really high HP enemy, I was integrating like bow attacks. I mean, I had to do them multiple times, so it does have that persistence element. But like each time, I was getting better and wasting less and less durability on my weapons because I was mixing up my attacks on
Right.
them.
Quick question too. That reload, not too bad, huh?
Not too
Nope.
bad. It's not the greatest ever, but it's not
Just enough to be frustrating, but not enough to be wanting you to quit, like Bloodborne.
Yep. Yep.
Are you guys
He's a
using
little-
tilt controls when you aim the bow?
Nope, turn it off.
I turn them off and then I turn them back on, and I'll tell you why.
I have mine on. I think they're actually pretty good.
They're actually pretty good. The problem is
If you're playing on a handheld,
the default camera speed is too slow. Is the problem.
that's true.
So when you turn it up, aiming your bow is a goddamn nightmare. So you really need the gyro to adjust it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Well, yeah. Then if you turn it to full fast speed, then it's a little bit more manageable.
I have it on fast speed, but then it makes aiming the arrows a jerky, awful affair.
Well, that's why I
they
turned
have a
it to high speed, and then turned off the motion control.
No, but I use the motion control for fine adjustments.
Okay.
Yeah, it works. It just requires a bit of like foresight. Like, oh, I can't be moving this thing all over the place. Yeah, but at first it was very jarring, but I got used to it.
I spent a good long time trying to deal with the both hybrid of motion control and non-motion control at medium, regular, normal speed, and I was so angry about it. So then I switched it to full camera speed, and now I'm able to actually have a good time with that. No motion controls involved.
You just don't feel the motion of the ocean.
Oh, but I do.
I'm glad you're using motion aiming, Jamie, because I'm with you on it being underrated.
I think I would have died multiple times if I wasn't using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once your brain like remembers that it's a thing, it's very easy to include it in your like your calculations, basically.
And I also use it on the Pro Controller too. Like I will tilt the Pro Controller around to aim.
When you do it, do you emote to your friends, "I'm using tilt controls"?
Exactly.
Okay, quick here. Why don't you guys talk about... shoot. I lost it.
Something with the Switch hardware,
Yeah, something I wouldn't be interested in.
the processing power.
Yeah, processing power. No, I was going to say, like...
Tune up the graphics on level 3.
no, actually, yeah, that's a good point. Both of you have mentioned before, like, framey issues and problems in actually the game hitching up and dropping into frames. Why don't you do that while I go use the bathroom?
I've noticed it in handheld mode pretty regularly, and I've also... It seems pretty reproducible in docked mode. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's
Like,
the same situations over and over
Yep.
again.
And Digital Foundry was like, oh, it's probably a streaming issue because it's random. It is not random at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Like, it happens in exactly the same place every time.
I had a more
Which makes me feel better.
I had a more serious issue even. I had a complete lockup when I was playing in handheld mode once. It was autosaving. I initiated a conversation and I pressed the home button simultaneously, and this caused a complete freeze that I actually had to turn the whole thing off and turn it back on again.
Jesus.
Luckily it had saved, but that was kind of scary. But I haven't had any...
I'm glad it keeps like 5 autosaves.
Yeah.
For that very reason.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly forward thinking for Nintendo.
I not to spoil anything, but in that incredible battle that I alluded to earlier, where I'm literally flying down a mountain, landing on a peak, doing something, flying a little more, landing on a different peak, doing something, I died multiple times, and it was like saving every time I did anything. Like, oh, you shot an arrow? I'll save, which is great.
It is, and it's nice to have a selection of choices in case you have wasted a resource and want to like go back and save scum a bit.
But back to what Griffin wanted us to talk about. I mean, certainly when it rains, you're going to notice the chugging, especially in the docked mode. If it's raining and you're in a town, you're done. If it's raining and you're in a forest, you're done.
Oddly enough, I went to this one shrine surrounded by spikes, and it was like, no, you will have no frames. I don't know why.
Miyamoto modeled each of these spikes.
Each spike has a bloodfly shadow on it.
And at first, this was really jarring and really kind of impacted the experience for me. Much like how I first reacted to the game in general. I thought this is truly unacceptable. But the fact of the matter is that the game has so many other merits that I have just looked over it entirely, and I've come to terms with it, and it doesn't necessarily it hasn't gotten me killed ever or anything like that. So
no, and I think it is like it's a particularly jarring frame issue, and there was some explanation given by Digital Foundry, and I was like, oh, whatever. But in practice, it actually is like it is pretty ugly when it happens. Like it looks just bad.
Yeah.
Like sometimes framiness can be okay. This just looks pretty bad.
I think it might be really poor. Was it frame pacing?
I think it had to do with they're using a buffering solution that has it locked to, or like their VSync solution has it locked to either 30 or 20. So when it's in between and trying to find a lock, it can lead to some frame pacing issues because of that.
Yeah, I think that's called double buffer VSync, and that's a very common issue.
Yeah. So it's because they're and I think the performance is pretty rock solid most of the time.
Yeah.
And those moments when they occur, because it's so jarring, it can be like, whoa, that's really ugly. But it's not so bad. It's just it's a small mark on an otherwise fantastic game for me. Yeah,
definitely. I am learning to overlook it because it's definitely worth overlooking, and I haven't noticed any framiness in battles either, which is the thing.
No, it seems to pop up in the weirdest scenarios. Like, I mean, rain is one potentially, not always, but like I said, just like in this random shrine, like I wasn't even in the shrine; it's just outside the shrine. Spikes are apparently anathema.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely jarring, and it's definitely, as far as framiness goes, it's a kind of a worse offender than some when it happens. But it's not the end of the world, and it's not that common, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
At least not in tablet mode. It's definitely a little worse in docked mode. Like, there's no hitchiness in Kakariko in tablet mode, but when it's docked, and you look at the pumpkin patch, for some reason, those pumpkins, man. You don't want to fuck with those pumpkins.
Hateno Village in the rain docked. It really gets down to what looks to me like 1510. Like,
oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but whatever. It's beautiful in its own way.
It is. Yeah. Also, that like Goddess of Evil statue, that shit creeps me out, man.
Where's that? What?
It's in Hateno Village. When you walk in there, this kid's like, "Come with me," and then you go there, and a goddess statue steals your heart.
Didn't do that. Yep.
What the fuck? So, okay, the game has a respec system.
Well, Jeff, maybe you shouldn't be playing in non-dock mode.
I encountered this while docked.
Damn.
Maybe I'm being punished. No, it's really cool.
Yes, you're punished for talking to everybody.
Talk to a little kid, and he'll take you over to very creepy respec.
Have both of you gotten to Wasabi Village?
I just walked in there last night, and I haven't played it all today. So
I've done all the main stuff in Hateno and Kakirikuro villages, and that's when I decided to go to Gerudo City.
Okay, then I'll try. Jamie, please follow me on this through line. When I went into the second village, which is called what?
Hateno?
Hateno. Okay. I was talking to Jeff the other day, and I was floored by this game committing to its open source or its open world kind of situation. Please don't say what it was if you know what I'm talking about, but I cannot believe it. And also because I haven't finished the quest, but I cannot believe that I was even given the option to do this thing that this game told me it was ready for me to do. Have you encountered something that is critical in most open world games, in most villages, where you find stuff that you're like, wow, Zelda game has never done this before, but every other open world game has?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking
okay.
about.
Sex minigame?
What?
Sex minigame?
No. No. You can buy a house.
Oh.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I have that quest.
Nice. Way to follow me on that one.
Thanks, guys. Spoilers. Is it exorbitantly expensive and probably has several treasure chests inside?
No treasure chest. $3,000. Get in there, buddy.
What do you do with it?
That's that. I don't have the funds. I don't want to spend the money because I know the money. I know that the resources are important. But that's what I. But that's the moment for me when I'm like, holy open world situation. Like, why would you ever buy a house in Zelda? And that's what I really want to see.
I'm curious. I wonder if it's just like literally like you get like a Korok for it.
I'm hoping.
I feel like that would be a Zelda.
That would be bad. I'm hoping it would be like you have storage. You can put your swords on a shelf, like that kind of
you
like
can take your lovely wife there.
that kind of like an old Elder Scrolls kind of a thing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't count on it, but maybe. That is really weird for a Zelda game. I'm very surprised to hear that.
Right, and Jeff, you always defer to like, oh, it's a Korok, but I think this game does more than just like, yeah, it's another little widget in your pocket. Like, I think this game does a lot more than that.
Hey, those widgets matter, man. Also, I have over 30 Koroks now.
Oh, that's it?
Oh, how many do you have?
What I realized was when we were talking yesterday, that was the current, or the other day, that was the current amount in my wallet, not how many I have spent. So, deal with that.
Ooh, shit. Damn.
Meanwhile, I have like 8. And I have spent 5 or something.
Oh, there was one in that Master of the Wind quest where I had to throw a rock into a little hole in the water, and that thing sucked.
Yeah.
I did it, though.
Bowling? You guys do bowling?
No.
No?
I did target practice.
You both have done the Dueling Peaks, so you should have done bowling.
Bowling.
In the shrine?
Or I guess soccer? No, football. Football.
You have to... Is it with a bomb, or...?
You have to push rocks down a cliff and then get them between 2 upright trees.
I had no idea that was the thing.
Yeah.
They don't signpost the Korok stuff at all. It's just like, if this looks slightly odd, fuck with it, and maybe you'll find something.
They signpost it,
Which
and
I
that
love.
they're like, you can do something with this. Figure it out.
Yeah, they don't make it obvious. That's
And the
for sure.
Korok rewards are super nice because it's like, expand your inventory. Yes, please.
It's all stuff that you want. Like, it's all stuff that you're like, at a time you've been like, oh god, I wish I could carry one more sword.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one.
You guys digging that Pokemon Snap crap?
I haven't done it yet. Spoilers, bro.
I did it. I like it.
Yeah, me too. Jamie, did you get to the thing where you can actually search for them?
Yeah. I've yeah.
Yes,
That's awesome.
yes. It's so nice.
You can find Mew.
No, you can't find Mew.
It doesn't work for like flint though. It works for like cooking ingredients, but I don't think it works for like flint, opal, that kind of thing. Am I wrong?
Yes, you're not wrong. As far as I know it at this point, like maybe there's another upgrade at some point that will say
I heard
around this
about
area.
that.
Yeah. Jeff, keep reading those Reddits, huh? Yeah. No cheats.
calm down. I haven't read much about this game. I've been on almost media blackout because I've been trying. Like, I didn't watch the massive day of coverage. I've been trying to get it all fresh. I mean, it's a rarity for me to get games, without getting shit spoiled for me well in advance. I've barely read any reviews of this game.
Your shit doesn't spoil. We all know that.
Right.
It's good. It's good for years.
Potpourri.
That's right. We use poopery in this household. It is a goddamn miracle spread. It is the anti-Switch cartridge code.
What if you hit not the but the potpourri? if you have the poopery, what if you like spray the bowl that's not covered by the poopery?
I don't understand that question.
Oh, you're not using poopery?
You spray it before you go to the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
You put it in the toilet bowl, and then you poo into the poopery,
Uh-huh.
and then it doesn't smell.
But what if you have like a bunch of Mexican food the night before, and it's just like everywhere?
You mean like you shit all over your bathroom?
Yes, does that cover?
what you're
Yes,
saying?
yes.
This is what those hospital bathrooms look like. Griff, are you coming to Jersey secretly?
Is this like, I hate to ask this, but is this like people who like are clearly on drugs and then go in there and like just have disaster shits?
In the hospital, I honestly have
Yeah.
no idea.
Nobody knows.
Anyway, if that happens, I feel like poopery is the least of your worries.
Yep.
But yeah, so we all like Zelda,
Yep.
and the
I
Switch
have
is good.
I have like no energy to talk about other things.
Nope, me neither. It's been like 2 hours. Can we just say, hey, before we like cut this, because I think we're all, I don't know, Griff, are you still ready and raring? Or are you
No. I'm ready to go with you guys. Let's end this
Okay.
here. We're at almost 2 hours.
Before we go, I just want to get like gut check from everyone. Like, so the Switch is out. Obviously, we know, we won't get into the numbers because it's a waste of time. But it's done well for a launch. It's
I thought you were going somewhere else, but that's fine.
All right.
Well,
It's
we
broken
have
sales
official.
records.
We have official figures now from Reggie. It's the best launch since
Reggie,
ever.
impartial source.
when you look at the raw numbers, I mean, it's not. It could be supply that makes it the best launch ever. But it, great initial buzz. I would say far better than the Wii U. So how do you guys feel about the Switch right now? I mean, maybe a sentence like, are you cautiously optimistic? Are you on the train? Are you this thing's still going to fail? Where do you having played with the console, having used the console for the better part of a week?
Actually, I'm going to jump in front of
where
that and not have it one sentence, because this question was brought up initially in our discussions, and that is, you guys pre-ordered. I did not. I got my Switch by going in early to a retailer. I have went to about 7 retailers after that just to scope it out, and they are all out of stock here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not just out of stock of Switch, but all the peripherals.
Oh, I didn't even tell my GameStop story about walking into GameStop and encountering so many empty boxes. Like, I would say a quarter of that store's real estate was taken up by empty boxes, not just of Switches, but of Switch accessories, Switch games, and then the actual Switch selection in the store was one shelf behind the counter of 2 Joy-Cons and an Afterglow headset.
Nice.
Yeah, I think so. All the non-gamer drunk 25-year-olds that I've shown the Switch to have been like, wow, that's actually really cool. I think this system might have that cachet that Nintendo wants it to have, where a non-gamer looks at it and says, I could have some fun with this thing. Maybe, and I've even like floated the price point by them, and they're like, yeah, that sounds good. I mean, my phone is like $1,000, so like whatever. And it's like,
I think they're lucky that phones are no longer sold for quote unquote $200.
yeah, exactly.
And Jamie, on your same thing, like, I polled the audience on Friday where I work, and I said, hey, who's got a Switch? Who knows what's going on? And there was about 3 people out of 10 that said, yeah, I know what this is. I want it, or I know somebody who has it, and I'm going to go play it this weekend.
Is that good?
That's
for your office?
Well, I mean, it's an office in the coal mine. Like, yes, it's amazing, isn't it?
People don't even know that the outside world exists.
Right? Yeah.
I want to play the Switch.
Right.
The Black Glove.
According to you guys, we're all just a bunch of hillbillies. So if these hillbillies are like, this is amazing, then all the super smart people on the coasts are like, oh yeah, we need this.
Charlie was really excited for his Switch pre-order, but sadly he perished in a fart-based.
The other thing was, I've been anecdotally hearing about people who are definitely like hardcore, not hardcore, but like people who like Nintendo games, and they're like, I want the Switch, but I don't know why. It's like, well, it's Zelda. You need to get it for Zelda. And they're like, but what else is there? It's like, well, it's pretty much just that. so do you like Zelda? Yes. They're like, kinda.
Yep, buy it.
Right. So it's
because it is not even Zelda. It's more than Zelda.
So yeah, me going to different retailers across the board, and then talking to people I work with and family and all that stuff is like, yes, everybody wants it. It's very surprising.
It is surprising. I think it speaks to the importance of having a superlative launch title.
Yeah,
I think it
great
does
point.
too. I also think it speaks to the strength of their initial marketing, starting with that 3-minute YouTube video, leading all the way through till now. People, you don't need to explain.
Yeah.
You don't need to explain why this thing is unique or what's cool about it. It is immediately evident, and it's easy to show people how it works and the ways that you could use it.
Yeah, and I think that Zelda is really a great showcase to start with.
But
that really
I'm going
to
to step in front of this. It is tough to explain it to people who do not know why Zelda matters. So take my kid for example. It's like he's like, "Hey, did you hear about this new Nintendo launch?" I'm like, "Yes, I did." He's like, "Well, it sounds awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, but you can only play one game." He's like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, "Okay, is that cool?" He's like, not really, like not super interesting. So gamers, like if you want to quantify them as like the Xbox gamers, like they are not interested in this because it's not going to play the next like Madden or whatever. But it captures a new demographic, like the lapsed gamer, and they're like, oh, now we're back in.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment, Griffin, and I think that I am not ready to call, I'm not ready to say this thing is going to be a huge success. I'm still cautiously optimistic, but I'm happy.
Me too.
To see a well-executed piece of hardware, which has, launch hiccups, and a great game to support it at launch in March.
Right.
So
I can say with confidence that this will not be an abject failure for them, and this will not be their last console. Like I that's how I feel with like the buzz around it and everything about that. I feel confident saying that this will perform better than the Wii U, and they will continue. This will not be their last stand.
I hope so.
There's still the Switch Plus, guys.
Yep. What I see from it,
yeah.
plus. Jamie, the same sentiment you have. I think that the proof is in the pudding. We'll see what happens at December for year end, when everything kind of comes to a head, and if the fervor. So if our druthers with Nintendo are okay, you guys don't do enough for third parties, but you make amazing first party games, and that will support your console, then let's see what happens at holiday this year. Will Nintendo create, or will Mario create the same buzz where Odyssey is like, this is the system you need, this is anything that you need because this has the greatest game available right now? Like, will this elevate this from this level that we have right now?
I think what's going to happen is everyone has told Nintendo they need third parties, and it's going to be like me telling Nintendo what I think they should do with Zelda, and they just take a hard left and go even farther into the territory I thought I wouldn't like, and then it somehow works. No, but it's going to be interesting. I don't know that Mario Odyssey is going to have the same selling power. Well,
but that's what I hope for. I hope Mario brings in the same crowd as the Zelda crowd did. Like, it's all the Nintendo elite and hardcore that's like jumping on the boat right now and like gobbling up the pre-orders, and the people that aren't like, well, I'm not really certain about going to the store. It's the people that are like, I love Nintendo, I love this thing, I want to be a part of this thing. If that is the same mentality for the new Mario launch, which you would assume would be larger because the fan base for Mario games should be larger than Zelda, then God, I would love this to be a bigger success and just keep snowballing and being bigger. But my fear is they don't do enough.
I think it's wise to temper your expectations, even though this is this game is like new Nintendo. This game feels like a step forward for the company, and the Switch coupled with it, it really feels different. It feels like a paradigm shift. I think it's wise to temper expectations just because we've been burned so many times, and let's be cautious and enjoy it for what it is right now, which is a damn good Zelda machine.
For sure. Okay, so on that note, one quick question before we end, and it's going to get super not positive, but what if Mario publishes or ends up coming out with like the same thing as Zelda, where you're like, oh, it's a big new open world, and they just cherry picked. Like, what if Mario's like, I got a cousin that wants to play darts with me all the time. I just take a taxi across the goddamn world.
The torture scene was really, it's quite visceral.
Yeah, but that's just how games are these days.
Yeah. Mario, in my headcanon, Mario has a strict no-killing policy. So, what a moral choice I made.
Okay.
But they're breaking everything we know about Mario because he's a deformed man in a city of normal people. So anything goes.
They're not normal people.
Either he's an alien or they're all aliens.
They're probably people that call him Mario.
Oh man, I just want to see him kiss a real lady.
They all.
All right, take your Sonic fan fiction and get out of here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because it is odd to see Mario kind of pivoting back towards a more open design, and there's some parallels with Zelda, and they need to differentiate, of course, but I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm not worried.
It is one of the best teams within Nintendo working on it. So.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, it's good. It's gonna be one to watch for sure, and seeing how they roll out their strategy for releases going forward, I really hope they have some smaller stuff to fill the gaps, 3DS-like titles. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Nindies, yo.
Nindies.
That Nindies video was actually damn good.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. I want
Agree.
like 95% of those games.
We have not talked about the Splatoon 2 stuff, amongst many other things, but I think now it is time to go. So,
Yes.
let's press the home button
Switch.
and everybody go to sleep on the Switch.
Sounds
Let's play an hour of Zelda first.
Yes.
I'll see you.
All right, guys. Yeah, let's say bye.
Bye.
All right. Hey, I've been Griff Hoffman. You can see me on Twitter on Griff Hoffman. You can also visit the website of bossbarrel.com to check out all of our previous podcasts and videos and everything that happens on YouTube. Jeff, what you got?
I'm on Twitter. It's Kidius123. I think I tweeted maybe like a couple months ago.
Here you got a new cat.
So
I
did.
Is your new cat on Twitter?
He's named after President Millard Fillmore.
Nice.
Yay.
Jamie, what you doing right now?
You can find me Danger Toasty on YouTube, and I'll be on the corner of Bergen and South Orange and Newark.
You're going to be a coroner?
From 1 to 4 p.m. Free anal gland expression. I do appreciate donations, but anything.
Not required.
Yeah, not required.
Anything helps. Anything helps. And you'll be playing Switch the whole time.
Yeah.
Find Jamie
Yeah.
in his car on the top of the parking garage on the hacky sack.
Hackensack University Medical Center. In the parking lot that medical students are not supposed to park in. I will be on the top playing Switch. So, see you there.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.